So my question again to you is, what are you thirsting for? This woman was thirsting for something, and it brought her to a well to be able to draw it. What are you thirsting for? It may not be natural water, but you may be thirsting for something. What are you thirsting for? This woman, remember, she had already gone through the devastation of 5 husbands. Now that's a lot for anybody to experience. She'd gone through 5 husbands. It's enough to break up with a girlfriend or boyfriend. You'd be messed up, for sometimes 2 or 3 weeks. People, some people, have different effects. Some people break up and they can't eat and they start losing weight, and other people eat everything in sight. So some people shrink up and other people blow up. I mean, it's just, people are different, But you get in the mess. You don't even have to be married to somebody. You can just be involved emotionally with somebody, and you break up, and then your emotions are jacked up, and it messes up your appetite. Or either you discover that you're eating all of this stuff, and you really have a love hunger. A love hunger. It's really not about the food, but the food makes you feel good. And so we're having a relationship with Mr. Hershey. Miss Strawberry Shortcake, Miss Red Velvet, ooh, bam. Having a relationship, because we have a hunger. What are you thirsting for? This woman had a thirst in her that kept driving her back to a place. It kept driving her continually back to this place. She's being driven to this place, and she doesn't even understand exactly why she's there. But she's gone through 5 husbands. 5 husbands. And she's got another one that she's living with now, and it's not the greatest. She's really thirsty for something that men can't really provide for her. And so she's going through these problems of having to learn this thing the hard way, because there are just some women that are the same woman. And this is not really a gender thing here. There are men that are the woman at the well, that keep running from woman to woman because of something that's unfulfilled in him, and he's looking for a woman to do for him something only that God can do. Men do that too. This is not about a gender. This is about a spirit. So men can have the same spirit as this woman who's running and had all of these different relationships and still not fulfilled. Still at a different place trying to find something to give them satisfaction and fulfillment. But when something bad happens to you, you have 3 choices. Number 1, you can let it define you. You can let it define you. But listen, don't be defined by what happens to you. Failure is an event, not a person. Failure is an event, not a person. Number 2, you can let it destroy you. I've known some people who they break up from certain relationships, and that they lose, they go off their rockers. They start stalking you. Touch your neighbor and say, I know this person. I hope you didn't date them. I really hope I hope you weren't married to them. But you can let it destroy you. When bad things happen, some people get destroyed because bad things happen to you. And then thirdly, you can let it strengthen you. Because whenever you go through a trial, it is to say that you've got to use the strength of your weight now. Faith must be exercised. And whenever you exercise something, it's going to get stronger in your life. So you can either be defined by your problem, you can be destroyed by your problems, or you can be strengthened by your problems. And may I just remind you that God allows problems to come into the lives of the believer, not to define us, not to destroy us, but to strengthen us. And so some of y'all ought to be just Superman, Superwoman. Y'all ought to be Superman and Wonder Woman. Because you've been through enough. Don't be defined by what you went through. You are not what you did. So don't take on the identity of where you came from and what you did. Listen, you have to be strengthened by that, because you learned that lesson. If you don't learn the lesson, you're going to end up taking that same test in another place with a different face. And this woman was unsatisfied. She'd had all these 5 husbands, and she still was unsatisfied in her life. Because, you see, the principle here is that you should never look for a human to fill a void that only God can fill. Should never look for a human to fill a void in your life that only God can fill. There's a God-shaped void in every man, a God-shaped void in every woman, and only God can fill it. You can fill it with good-looking people, smooth people, rich people, smart people, and there will be still a void because it's not the right shape. And something on the inside of you will feel this thing doesn't feel right. And I've known some people that are so mixed up that if they feel like if I could take part of this person and part of that person and part of this one, I would have just the perfect mate. You schizophrenic, multiple personality disorder. It doesn't work that way. You can't get people off of a smorgasbord and take the kindness here and the sweetness there and the looks here and the banging boobs here. No, you can't.